Hey, it's Dr. John Terry, the Black Belt Leader, and welcome to the Black Belt Leadership Podcast, where each week I'm giving you tips, tools, insights, and resources to help you become a better version of who you are and what you do as you discover, develop, and deploy your own Black Belt leader within. Now, she made her debut in New York City on March the 9th, 1959. This tall, curvy, blonde bombshell literally took the nation by storm. Now, not only did she make a splash on March the 9th, 1959, she has gone on to remain a social influencer for the past 6 decades. Here's what I can say about this beautiful blonde bombshell. She has reinvented herself multiple times as she's adapted to the changing culture. She's a trend-setting global traveler who's inspired countless young girls over the decades to believe in themselves and to believe in their potential. Now, you probably know who I'm talking about because she is a household name and was recently the star of a major motion picture. Have you guessed her name yet? Yeah, I'm talking about Barbie. Now, if you don't know the origins of the Barbie doll, Barbie is a fascinating story. Let me share it with you. Barbie was the brainchild of Ruth Handler. Now, if you don't recognize the name Ruth Handler, she was one of the co-founders of the Mattel toy company. Now, Ruth observed her daughter Barbara, who became the doll's namesake. She was playing with paper dolls, and she saw a need for a doll that allowed young, impressionable girls to imagine themselves in an adult role rather than just as babies. Now, if you ask me, it was a very forward thinking idea during a time when baby dolls actually dominated the toy market. Introducing an adult doll to young girls at that point in time encouraged them not only consider the role of motherhood, but the various career paths that these young girls may want to pursue in the future. Now, Barbie was inspired by the Build Lily doll. Now, the Build Lily doll was a German novelty toy that had been created for adults, but later became very popular in Europe with children. Ruth Handler and her team at Mattel created the Barbie doll, again, naming it after her daughter, Barbara. Now, Barbie made her official debut at the American International Toy Fair in New York City on March 9th, 1959. She showed up sporting a black and white swimsuit. Now, needless to say, Barbie was a big hit. She went on to sell over 300,000 units her first year after the toy was released. And Barbie went on to quickly become a cultural and fashion icon in the toy industry. Now, as a side note, in 1961, Ken, her boyfriend, was introduced. He was the epitome of the clean-cut collegiate American. Now, just like Barbie, he too came with an extensive wardrobe, but his focus was more of that preppy Ivy League flair. But let's get back to the main character, and that's Barbie. Now, over the years, if we look at the Barbie brand, it has expanded into a multimedia franchise. And if you look at all the areas Barbie touched, we're talking video games, animated films, television, internet series, and as I already mentioned, a live action motion picture. Now, Barbie's been celebrated and at times criticized for her portrayal of female beauty and the aspirations that she rose to, as well as some of her influences on social value. Now, many historical figures throughout history have been immortalized as their own unique version of Barbie. I didn't know the extent of this until I began to do a little research for this article, and I discovered that Helen Keller, Susan Anthony, Florence Nightingale, Ella Fitzgerald, Bessie Coleman, Madam C.J. Walker, Ida Wells, Maya Angelou, Anna May Wong, and Rosa Parks are among some of the historic women that have been immortalized as a Barbie. Now, other inspirational women Barbies in the past have included Christy Yamaguchi, Jane Goodall, and of course, we're talking celebrity. And when we get into celebrity, the very first celebrity Barbie doll was modeled after British fashion icon Twiggy. Now, that Barbie version was released in 1967. Other celebrity Barbie characters from historic past include Marilyn Monroe, Grace Kelly, Stevie Nicks, Shania Twain, and Zendaya, just to name a few. But throughout the decades, one of the things Barbie has managed to do and to do well is to remain a fashion icon for the times. Now, if you go back and you were a child of the 70s and the 80s, you saw Barbie appearing on the store shelves as Peace and Love Barbie, as Disco Barbie, or Malibu Barbie, or maybe Peaches and Cream Barbie. If you were a child of the 1990s and the 2000s, Barbie appeared as Bead Blast Barbie, as Back to School Barbie, as Midge Ski Fun Barbie, Pretty Hearts Barbie, Caboodles Barbie, Holiday Hostess Barbie, Make a Valentine Barbie, Paint and Dazzle Barbie, Olympic Gymnast Barbie, Arctic Barbie, Steppin' Out Barbie, Olympic Skater Barbie, Western Stampin' Barbie, and the highly popular Totally Hair Barbie. As you can see, Barbie has reinvented herself over and over again to remain relevant to current culture. Now, in the world of movies, there's also been a Wizard of Oz Dorothy Barbie, a 101 Dalmatians Barbie, an Eliza Doolittle Barbie from My Fair Lady, and of course, a Disney Fun Barbie. Now, if you look at all the different roles and all the different careers that Barbie's pursued, this girl's really done it all. She's been an astronaut, a filmmaker, a model, a flight attendant, a pilot, a police officer, a CEO, an architect, a nurse, a doctor, a beekeeper, a dolphin trainer, a scientist, and Barbie's even been a president. Now, she's had her own dream house. She's had a sparkly pink convertible. She's had a dream plane. She's had a Jeep. She's had a dollhouse. She's had a scooter. She's had a ski boat. She's had her own swimming pool, a unique bicycle, a cook and grill set, an SUV, and most recently, Barbie's had her own electric car. Now, if we look at historically over the last 6 decades, Barbie's literally had everything she wanted. She's done everything she ever wanted to do. Barbie has traveled anywhere she wanted to go and got to become anyone she wanted to become. And Barbie's been the center of attention of an admiring fan base for more than 60 years. This is the Barbie effect. Now, why is that important? Because in life, groups tend to promote people who command the most attention. That's one of the things that has led to Barbie's fame now over 6 decades long. And the Mattel Toy Company has done an incredible job of keeping Barbie relevant over the past 6 decades by adapting her to changing cultures and giving her an opportunity to explore a variety of roles and challenge young girls to consider what they possibly could be. Now, if we look at the different franchises through the Mattel industry, Barbie has literally been one of the most successful franchises in the histories of dolls and of toys. But there's a danger to the Barbie effect, and that's where I want to spend a few minutes today, because if we were to look at Barbie and we were to interact with Barbie as a live person, the odds are pretty good based upon all that Barbie's got to do and the success that Barbie has experienced as a global phenomenon. We would literally see the dark side of the Barbie effect appearing in the way she lived life. And that would be narcissism. Remember, in life, groups tend to promote the people who command the most attention. And think about what we see today with Hollywood celebrities, with professional sports athletes, with social media influencers, with business icons, with radio TV personalities and the like. What we often see played out before our lives is a collection of self-serving narcissists who are only concerned with their own welfare, their well-being, and it's all about them. Now, narcissism by definition is an inflated sense of self-importance. It's a need for excessive admiration, and it is epitomed by a lack of empathy for other people. Again, it's all about the narcissist. Now, narcissists, as a rule, tend to exaggerate their achievements. They tend to exaggerate their talents. They believe they are superior to other people. They possess an insatiable craving for attention and praise. And what do we see them doing? Constantly seeking validation from other people. Now, narcissists believe they're entitled to special treatment or special position, and they expect other people to cater to their every whim and their every need. They often take advantage of other people just to achieve their own goals. And sadly, they do that with no remorse and no guilt, again, believing they are deserving of or entitled to greatness, excess, praise, or adoration. I refer to this as a God complex because rather than remaining humble and being grateful for the opportunity to be elevated and to mold and shape lives in a positive way, what do we see? As these influencers, as these icons, as these celebrities and stars become famous, what often happens? They become arrogant, they become self serving, and they become succeeded. That's why I refer to it as the God complex, because like the fabled Olympians, they believe themselves mistakenly worthy and demanding of praise, worship, adoration, and the success of other people. Now, this is the dark side of the Barbie effect. When the celebrities of the world today believe everybody else should sacrifice for them, that is a bad place to be. And inside of any organization, if the dark side of the Barbie effect shows up, it can have a devastating impact on performance. Now, you and I have probably all seen our share of prima donnas in the sports world. Looking back over the many, many years I've watched sports, I could name several. I won't for the benefit of the podcast today, but consider the narcissistic wide receiver on an NFL team, the arrogant point guard who always wants to make the shot himself, or the other positional player in hockey or some other team sport who cares more about their fame, their stats, and their position than they do about their followers on the team or the team itself even achieving success. Because when these narcissistic individuals are on the playing field, it's all about them and it's all about getting their personal win. Now, there was a study done recently in the NBA, and here's what it found. A narcissistic player on an NBA basketball team leads to negative outcomes. It leads to lower team scoring, fewer assists, more team losses, and less overall improvement as a team. Now, you and I can probably think of some teams in the past that we thought had potential, but because of the arrogance of one person, that opportunity to be world champion came crashing to the ground. Now, let's think about this in terms of your organization, the team that you are a part of. Any organization that desires to be a high performance winning team really needs to pay attention to the negative implications of the Barbie effect, because you want to make sure if it does show up and begin to manifest itself, you take immediate steps to mitigate its potential damage. Now, some of the negative impacts of the Barbie effect that you need to be looking out for inside your organization are mistaking confidence for competency. Just because you're competent doesn't mean you're capable. Mistaking certainty for credibility, or mistaking quantity for quality. Now, interestingly, when we look at some of the top high performance teams across multiple industries, what I find interesting is the fact that many of these top performing, high performance, highly successful teams don't necessarily have the best talent. They may not have all A+ players on the team. They may not have the best thinkers. They may not have the best individual performers on the roster. They may not be the most highly recruited players if they were going to go play pro sports, but here's what they do have that sets them apart and makes them successful. It's a team of individuals who will identify and expand the very best thinking that every individual member of the team brings to the organization. And they find ways to help each individual team member identify their unique niche and to perform at his or her best to contribute to the success of the team. Now, in the positive psychology world, in the business psychology world, this is referred to as collective intelligence. Now, you and I, we all possess individual intelligence at some level. We may not all be Einsteins, but we're all smart in our own way. But collective intelligence takes individual intelligence to an entirely different level. Collective intelligence leverages the individual intelligence of each team member. And in doing so, it enhances the group's ability to more effectively think, to more effectively problem solve, and to more effectively execute as a cohesive team. Now, this is the secret sauce behind how high performance, non leader dependent teams get more things done in less time through effective cooperation and collaboration. Because when properly utilized and leveraged inside of an organization, collective intelligence is going to yield a myriad of positive benefits. And these positive benefits boost performance and enhance outcomes. Let me touch on a couple of them. First, collective intelligence is going to allow a team to enlist and evaluate the collective insight and wisdom and experience of every individual team member because it prompts the free exchange of ideas. Every individual team member is encouraged to contribute. And because of this, every team member now feels seen, heard, valued, and appreciated. Did you get what I just said? By inviting everyone to participate in the free exchange of ideas, every single team member feels seen, heard, valued, and appreciated. Well, I can tell you this, all of us are better than any one of us when it comes to a team effort. And when we collect, when we consider, and when we collaborate on every single person's contribution, we're going to have more ideas show up. And when we have more ideas show up, we're going to have more better ideas show up. And when we have more ideas show up and more better ideas show up, guess what's also going to show up? More of the best ideas that we can identify and implement to make our team better. Now, the second benefit of collective wisdom is this. When we foster collective wisdom, we also foster an environment where all of the team members are able to come together in a cohesive learning environment where they collectively learn from each other, teach each other, and grow together as a team. When everybody is willing to learn from each other, to take the knowledge that each other has and identify how we can apply it to ourselves or help the other team members apply it in some way, we create this learning forum and these unique opportunities that create ongoing coachable moments. And when we're coachable as a team, the end result of that is we're going to get better over time. Because anytime we have a coachable moment inside of an organization, it allows not just that individual team member, but the entire team to share their unique expertise with other people. And the end result, we all learn, we all get better, and as a result of that, we all improve. Now, this is what I refer to as an open architecture approach to collective intelligence. Why? Because it allows each individual team member to find and thrive in their own unique niche. And that's based on their talent, their ability, and their experience. But what I also like about this open architecture approach of constant learning, constant holding each other accountable is this. Not only do we find our unique niche where we can serve the organization at the highest level, participating in the greatest area of our strength and giftedness, it also allows each and every team member inside the organization to know what their role is, to know the part they play in the entire team dynamic. They understand how their individual contribution contributes to the overall team's success. And the better the job that they do, and the better the job that every other team member does, the better the overall corporate end result that is delivered ultimately to the end user audience that this organization serves. Now, the third benefit of collective intelligence is it allows a team to rally together as they align around some common goal or some desired outcome. Now, think about it. When each team member actually knows what a win looks like, and they know how their specific contribution is going to help move the team forward in pursuit of the finish line, everybody is more committed to their part and their role in getting the team the win. And once that happens and they experience the win, both individually and corporately, together, they can celebrate the collective win. And they can also celebrate each individual team member's contribution to making that happen. Now, remember, high performance teams don't always have the best talent. They may not have the best thinkers. They may not have the best individual performers on the team. But as I've already shared, and I want to remind you, what they do have that sets them apart and what makes them highly successful is they have a team of individuals who will take the time to identify, to encourage the open sharing of ideas, and to expand the very best thinking of the team so that they can find ways to help each individual team member perform at his or her best, contributing to the overall success of the team. Remember, using collective intelligence, teams are going to foster more ideas and better ideas. And when we've got more ideas and more better ideas, we're going to have more of the best ideas that we can consider, evaluate, implement, and succeed. Because when we improve the available pool of options to consider by allowing more ideas and better ideas to be considered, no matter how outlandish or wild they may be, we can now vet and explore more options, more good options, and from those good options come the great options, the very best ideas that we can formulate and that we can implement. Now, this is a formula for success. So remember this, in life, groups tend to promote the people who command the most attention. While collective intelligence is important, the individuals that are part of the team are also important. What collective intelligence does is it leverages that individual intelligence when it's effectively implemented within an organization, allowing everyone to be seen, heard, valued, appreciated, and have an opportunity to contribute to the success of the organization. More ideas bring better ideas, which allow the very best ideas to be formulated and implemented. So when we lean into collective wisdom, it helps us negate the dark side of the Barbie effect. And it's going to create an environment where everybody contributes, everybody collaborates, and together, everybody succeeds. Hey, I'm Dr. John Terry, the Black Belt Leader. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.